This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Salud Carbajal. He is a member of the Board of Supervisors in Santa Barbara County, also a candidate for the United States Congress. He is running for the seat currently occupied by Lois Capps, who has announced her retirement. She has endorsed Mr. Carvajal's candidacy. I want to speak with you about running for Congress. It's a bit different than running for Board of Supervisors, a lot more constituents. You have 1/5 of Santa Barbara County as a supervisor. Now you're running a district that includes all of Santa Barbara County, all of San Luis Obispo County, and a little sliver of Ventura County.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's certainly a much larger feat to run for a congressional seat. But it's been great meeting with individuals and residents throughout the entire Central Coast and just listening to what's important to them, what issues keep them up at night.
That's the question. What issues are important? What's keeping them up at night?
Well, I think there's a multitude of issues. I'm hearing from issues of healthcare, issues of environmental protection, climate change, issues of the Phillips 66 issue that I know we're going to discuss in a few. Just a number of issues of the economy, wanting to have a desire for their children or individuals, members of their families to be able to get a good education, to making sure there's good educational opportunities. It crosses the entire gamut. Social Security, Medicare, making sure that we protect those benefits that many of our members of our community have paid into those benefits and now want to make sure that they're there when they retire or need them.
I want to ask about environmental concerns. We think about the Central Coast. The residents of this region are very protective of the beautiful scenic views that come off of the Pacific Ocean. We know recently in Santa Barbara County there was a dramatic oil spill, the Plains oil spill, and it kind of at some level plays into this Phillips 66 discussion, which we'll get to in a moment, which is bringing oil in by train. Before we talk about Phillips 66, talk to me about your county and how your county is feeling. I was telling you, I was driving up the 101 and I saw this activity off the road and trucks and helicopters, and I thought, what was it? And I realized it was a refugio, and I was at the oil spill.
Well, what we learned about the Plains pipeline oil spill that was on shore and actually made its way to the coastline was that it was one of the only pipes in the entire county of Santa Barbara that is not under the authority of Santa Barbara County.
Why?
There was a lawsuit after this pipeline was permitted by Santa Barbara County by the company or the previous company. I think they were able to get the courts to side with them that this was a federal monitoring oversight issue and took the responsibility away from Santa Barbara County. However, it was permitted and conditioned to have an automatic shutoff technology, which seems to be one of the issues that are part of the investigation at this point.
It's not
why was that shutoff technology not put in place as was required as part of the conditions when it was first permitted?
When you go to Refugio, when you're at that beach, that coast, when you speak to constituents, I'm not sure if it's actually in your district, but I know that you're for Santa Barbara. So what do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell?
Well, certainly you smell the odor. I think it's a lot less now because a lot of it has been cleaned up. But there's still some residual that's in the environment that they're trying to pick up now. But I was there the day after the spill, and the horrendous smell was almost unbearable of the oil and gasoline type smell.
And Santa Barbara has had this happen before. I think it was in the late 60s.
It was in 69, and then there was another spill from one of the platforms in recent years as well. That was a lot smaller. But that's why Santa Barbarians have a strong sentiment about the perils of this industry and what it could do not only to the environment, but to our economy. We had to close down the 2 state parks there. As a result of this bill.
And so let's talk about another potential hazard. I don't want to take a position, but there are some that believe that if the Phillips 66 oil refinery, which for our viewers is in South San Luis Obispo County, right above the Santa Barbara County line, if that is allowed to expand in such a way where oil is trained in from Canada through Montana and otherwise, that could cause potential environmental hazards. I know you've taken a position on this, you've written to the board here. Talk to us, sir.
Well, this expansion, rail spur expansion, will allow for a lot more oil to traverse through the coastline. And what it means for the entire area and our residents, it's basically the trifecta of possible major impacts. Impacts to safety of our residents, impacts to our environment, and impacts to our economy.
And let's talk about those specifically if we can. When we look at the question of safety, one would hope that our train system, our rail lines are safe, but it's hard to deny the facts of the last few years. There was an oil accident on train lines in Canada. There was one in West Virginia. Recently in Oxnard, there was a train incident, not dealing with oil, but an incident. And then in Philadelphia, we were devastated by what happened on Amtrak there.
Well, we need to look no further than those examples to really bring concern to all of us decision makers and all of us who live in the Central Coast. I think as a decision maker, we have a responsibility to safeguard the safety of our residents, to make sure that we safeguard our environment, and to make sure that our economy, as a result of a potential spill, doesn't threaten our economy and isn't threatened.
Let's look at the other side of the economy, because safety and environment we can lump together. They're similar concerns. On the economy, though, if this rail line is brought in, the spurs as we described them, the construction would be dramatic. Lots of jobs as a result of the construction of the spurs, and presumably more employees would be needed. And so that could benefit, arguably, South San Luis Obispo County, North Santa Barbara County, right in the heart of your congressional district, should you be successful.
Well, I think when you consider the cost-benefit analysis and the risks, I think you will find that the risks greatly outnumber the benefits, at least to the Central Coast. Certainly other interests from out of our area might benefit economically, but the potential risks and damage to our area, I think, far outweigh the benefits that we would be getting.
Now, as I understand it, Santa Barbara County cannot weigh in on this because the plant is not in Santa Barbara County. San Luis Obispo County can. So you need to prevail on your friends in San Luis Obispo County to adopt your position. What about the federal government? Should you be a member of Congress, would you be able to weigh in literally with a vote?
Well, first, let me address the
Please.
first point you made about Santa Barbara County. We have weighed in. We are weighing in, not only as individual decision makers, but our staff have weighed in about the potential risks and impacts
But you have
that
no
we are concerned.
official authority.
No decision-making authority.
Well stated.
You're absolutely right in that respect.
But does the federal government, does this need to go before Congress? California Coastal Commission? Who?
To my knowledge, perhaps there's coastal policy issue. I am not sure that there is a federal nexus to the decision-making of this project as proposed.
So where do you go from here? Your position is clear. You're not alone on your board. I believe Supervisor Farr has come out against. Is that right?
It's my understanding.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so where do you go from here?
Well, I think the first decision-making body will be the San Luis Obispo County Planning Commission. The second body, which if there's an appeal, will be the San Luis Obispo Board of Supervisors.
Wow.
And the third body that will have a say is the Coastal Commission, California Coastal Commission. So there's still plenty of process that will dictate whether this project is feasible, viable, and should go forward or not.
His name is Salud Carbajal. He is a member of the Board of Supervisors in Santa Barbara County, candidate for the United States Congress, the 24th District. My name is Brad Pomerance. You are joining us from San Luis Obispo. It's Charter Local Edition.